The writer and occultist Kenneth Grant once said, "Yet art, in the true and vital sense, is an instrument, a magical machine, a means of occult exploration which can project the seer into the realm of the unseen." Never has this felt truer to me than looking at the work of artist, writer, and draconian practitioner David Herrerias. Herrerias is perhaps most well known for his death metal and heavy metal album covers, but awe-inspiring as these are, his work goes a lot deeper. In his own words, a work of art acts as the most powerful sigil in our consciousness, because it talks to us in a way we do not completely understand. It thereby holds an ungraspable mystery which continues to emanate its power even while we dream, think, or act. His use of the word sigil is no accident. The literal definition is an inscribed or painted symbol considered to have magical power. Thus, in Herrerias's view, a work of art is by definition symbolic and by definition magical, a means of communication with mysteries that lie beyond the world of men. Take, for example, his piece, Manifestation 6. Every brushstroke of this masterpiece is laden with occult meaning. The 10 spheres, plus a secret 11th at the center, resemble the tree of life and the Sephiroth, or emanations that form the cosmic glyph of reality. The spheres are encircled by a great ghostly serpent, indicating the Ouroboros. The severed head is the head of the seeker of knowledge that must be cut from the body in order to become a receptacle for new knowledge, aka a chalice. This is only scratching the surface of what is present here. The more we look, the more we see. And if we look long enough, we begin to sense the mystery behind this piece reaching out to us. But if the mystery is truly ungraspable or unseen, how then do we receive communication of meaning? The answer is to be found in dream. The controversial psychologist Jordan B. Peterson observed, artists have always lived there, on the border of human understanding. Art bears the same relationship to society that the dream bears to mental life. Dreams have their own bizarre logic, yet we comprehend them. This is beautifully encapsulated in Herrerias's piece, Prayer of the Opposer. An almost alien-looking man projects his sword forward, not only towards but through his shadow, which bizarrely bears no resemblance to him, and is crowned with a star upon its third eye and horns upon its head. The two figures are stood in some kind of deep cave, which seems to reflect the very tunnels of the unconscious mind, what Kenneth Grant termed the tunnels of Set. Clearly, the piece has Jungian overtones, but is the man honoring or striking his shadow? And does the shadow threaten or guide him through the underworld? Unlike words, which at times run the risk of becoming didactic, the meaning here is deliciously ambiguous. It is up to us to simply be receptive to the sigil's many magical promptings. Lest there be confusion, the true power of the sigil is such that no knowledge is prerequisite to intuiting its meaning. In fact, our intellects can cloud reception. The occultist Grant Morrison understood this profoundly when creating Arkham Asylum, the best-selling graphic novel of all time. Arkham Asylum is more than simply a comic. It is an Ophidian grimoire, an exploration of the dark night of the soul glyphed in the Moon Tarot, which is seen in the opening panel of the novel. Yet, Morrison knew that the meaning of the symbols would be understood unconsciously whether his audience were initiated or not. The story is woven tightly around a small number of symbolic elements, which combine and recombine throughout, as if in a dream. The construction of the story was influenced by the architecture of a house. The past forms the basement levels. Secret passages connect ideas and segments of the book. There are upper stories of unfolding symbol and metaphor. The journey through the book is like moving through the floors of the house itself. The house and the head become one. Speaking of which, skulls and heads are a theme of Herrerias' work. Usually they are severed and tipped upside down, symbolic of the chalice or skull bowl mentioned earlier. This correlates with ideas of creativity as reception, not expression. In other words, the ideas being communicated are not your own, but come from somewhere else, somewhere deeper and darker. Where is this place? Herrerias has an answer. Here at the threshold, here between being and non-being, I beg you to guide me and guard my steps. The liminal, interstitial space, the place between states of waking and dreaming, living and dying, inhale and exhale. This might be symbolically represented by the two towers or pylons flanking the moon of the 18th Arcana. The moon card basically represents the darkness through which we must pass to reach the dawn. Or, in the words of Aleister Crowley, upon the hills are the black towers of nameless mystery, of horror and of fear. It needs unconquerable courage to begin to tread this path. This is the threshold of life. This is the threshold of death. All is doubtful. All is mysterious. All is intoxicating. Not the benign solar intoxication of Dionysus, but the dreadful madness of pernicious drugs. This is the drunkenness of sense after the mind has been abolished by the venom of this moon. Thus, Grant Morrison goes on to explain, the moon card then represents trial and initiation, the supreme testing of the soul where we must face our deepest fears, confront them and survive, or be broken. In this single image are encoded all the themes of our entire story. In the art of David Herrerias, we see clear evidence of one who has gone beyond this threshold, endured the dark night of the soul beneath the baleful moon's light, and returned to share what lies in this unseen realm. These sigils reach us from beyond the known, as evidence of the dream language spoken by those forms indwelling the void beyond the threshold. In this way, art is a means by which we may converse with the divine mystery and our own unconscious, or rather, to glimpse the dark side of the moon, which is the dark side of ourselves.